Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who like these type of videos, please remember to click like down below to offset those dislikes. Click subscribe if you haven't subscribed and click that little notification bell, ring my bell, baby. But today, a number of subscribers, actually just one guy has awared me that Jerry Ward, aka Junkie Ward, aka Teddy 2 times, has made a video trying to explain why you may not be gaining muscle. It's almost as if he wants to overcomplicate the stress recovery adaptation cycle. We're joined here by Jerry's Cocoa Puff. Go ahead and...
Hey guys, Jerry Ward Bio 3 Raw TV. Oh, let me square this up. Cast my spell. Buy my multivitamin. These are not the drugs you're looking for. Square deal. Alright guys, so like if you're not gaining muscle, it could be because you're under a lot of stress. And as times you're under a lot of stress, you burn more calories. Yeah, get the hell off of me. Go ahead and put on my +5 hat of speechcraft and see if we can come up with a more intelligent discussion. Yeah, that's the thing. I was watching Jerry looking rough these days. He's looking tired. He's looking haggard. He's rough in there, losing size, getting that drawn up look. I hope he's okay. I hope his health is okay. I'm a little bit concerned. We may not be the best of friends by any stretch of the imagination, but I legitimately don't want to see the guy's health decline or anything like that. I don't want to see anybody in the lifting world actually suffer health issues or anything else as a result of what they do. I don't want to see that. It's not a good look for the industry. It's not a good look for the community. And I mean, I can dislike someone and still have legitimate concern for their health. And I am concerned. He is looking rough. So hopefully he's okay. So you guys all send out your hopes and prayers and everything, you know. It's all good. But Jerry kind of went into this discussion about, well, you know, you have to understand, and Mike Minzer was the first one to talk about it. It's like Mike Minzer was a kook. Like no legitimate physiologist or coach or any legitimate strength and conditioning coach or expert takes anything Mike Minzer says seriously. So I don't know why he's always got to reference these bodybuilders. I mean, again, do some research on Mike Minzer. The guy was not altogether there. And I don't mean like, oh, the internet level of people do stuff. Mike was legitimately kooky, and I'm not going to get into his health issues or anything else or his mental health problems. We don't need to go there. The guy's passed on many years ago. Mike had some bizarre philosophies, even regarding training. He tried to basically take a philosophy book written by Ayn Rand and apply it to human physiology and think that it was being scientific. All right? Doesn't work that well. Notice he didn't make it to old age. But the point is, we come over, he's talking about look, people's stressors affect your ability to gain muscle. Well, yeah, that's normal. And he's saying, yeah, I mean, I've had this guy, and we just couldn't make calories stick because he had a newborn in the house, and he burned through so many calories. No, the guy's not burning through calories. He's stressed, and he's eating less. He's eating less, and he's sleeping less. His caloric needs didn't go up an enormous margin because of a baby in the house. And let's be realistic here. Yes, we have to account for individual stressors. And I am also a coach, and I have to account for people's individual lives. You know what? I have to structure the scheduling of my people's workouts based around their work routine, their life, if they're going through a rough time, a fight with the wife, a breakup with a girlfriend, if they're sick. I have a client right now who is going through a major medical issue, and we have to do random deloads. I've actually had to write his program in such a manner that he has plug-in deloads on days where his health is not doing particularly well. And I'm trying to keep up with his blood work. I'm trying to keep up with all his medical stuff. And he's able to train actually pretty hard most days. But he has random days where he gets in and he just simply cannot lift. And it's not an excuse. He actually has a legitimate medical issue going on. I'm not going to get into his private stuff. And we have to actually plug in deloads, and he has to send me a message when he is forced to take a deload workout when he gets under the barbell, and I have to adjust his spreadsheet accordingly, and we flow with it, right? We make it flow. Same thing, you know, if I have someone who's going through some really strenuous or stressful testing with their classes, because I have a couple students, we deal with that stuff, right? That's normal. You deal with these things. You adjust training based upon the needs of the individual client. But that's also plugged into basic template programming. And people say, what do you mean? Like, okay, take for example, all my novice programs. You notice they all have weight resets built in? And that's what I would say also. You guys do understand that a program includes how much weight you lift, right? People say, well, a program can't. It's everyone's at a different place. No, any given cookie cutter program, if you are so unadvanced that you can actually use a cookie cutter template, a template that someone hands you with reps and sets on it and exercises, you're a novice. Okay, you're a novice lifter. And that's fine. 95% of people watching YouTube Fitness are novice lifters. Okay, 90% of people who are getting programs online are novice lifters. If you're not able to program your own stuff off of a template yourself and program it, or hire a coach, you probably are not that advanced. That's where you need to go when you reach a certain threshold. You either need to learn how to program for yourself, you're gonna have to hire a coach, you're gonna have to actually, or buy a program. But that's usually customized. And so when you're dealing with anything that's a template, your weights are determined ahead of time, and there should be systems written into the program in place to account for these things. That's normal. That's a normal part of training. And what I have, for example, when you start missing lifts or you reach a certain level of rate of perceived exertion, I have it programmed in that you reduce the weight by 10%. Right, you have to reduce the weights and then you ramp back up over several workouts. Right, that's a normal ebb and flow of even a novice program. And anyone who hands you a program that doesn't have instructions written in on how to increase weight, when to reduce weight, all of this stuff that gives you an idea so that you know next week what you're going to put on the squat bar, that's not a program. Anything that doesn't include a system for determining how much weight you are supposed to lift in any given week in a progression is not a program. It's a list of exercises. It is not the same thing. It's not a workout. Actually, it might be a workout. A workout doesn't mean anything. None of you should be working out who are serious about training. You need to follow a training program, not a workout. So anytime someone says, I have a workout for you, that's usually garbage. It's nothing to do with training. You're just coming in and goofing off, doing some stuff. Training is structured. It's structured with programmed progression towards a long-term outcome. So the point is we come over to, well, that's normal. People have to adjust this stuff based around their day-to-day lives. And it's not that complicated. Anyone who doesn't understand how to do this already and isn't hiring a coach just needs to go follow a system of training that incorporates this already. And what do I mean? Perfect example, you could take stuff like what I do with the conjugate type method. Your maxes for that day are what your maxes are. Okay? They are what they are. They're not programmed ahead of time. You have numbers you might want to try to hit. They're based upon what you're physically capable of doing that day. All training is geared around the fact that we know that we have finite recovery reserves. And we talk about gaining muscle. It's a very simple process. The implementation of it might be a little more complicated, but the process is very simple. You need training stress, right? And that training stress needs to be inside of what you can recover from in terms of training load, training volume, training fatigue, to reach the minimum threshold to cause adaptation. All right? You don't need to fine-tune that until you are seeking maximum gains. If you're not an ultra-serious lifter, there's no need to find your exact thresholds. You know what I mean? Very simple. You can lift 3 days a week. 5 to 6 quality sets on each basic movement pattern. Each muscle group 3 days a week. Done. Progressive overload in place. Done. Any basic system includes that with a progression pattern. Slightly more advanced lifters who are not trying to maximize growth. I can promise you your maximum training volumes are going to be each muscle twice a week. Usually an upper-lower type split works. A minimum of 5 quality sets per muscle group. You can count things like benching and rows for your arms as half sets because, again, they're half stimulation. Minimum of 5 sets. You cap it at 10. I can promise you 95% of the population, no matter what's going on in your life, as long as you get enough sleep, enough food, enough protein, you will be at a pretty good growth rate inside of that as long as progression is present, irrespective of what programming you use. It isn't that complicated. That actually will get most people 70 to 80% of the muscle growth they could possibly get. If you want more, you're going to need to fine-tune that. There you go. That's usually your window for most people with a few exceptions. Progressive overload, because that's your volumes right there. Quality sets meaning you're getting within 1 rep of failure on all your sets. Notice I didn't even specify rep ranges. Didn't specify exact intensities. There you go. That's what you need to know. And if you're not able to grow due to other factors, except that you're not going to grow, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not getting enough sleep right now, or you're not getting enough food, or you're not getting enough protein, you accept that you're not going to grow during that time period. And there's nothing you can do about that. If you're going through a phase in your life to where you've got a newborn baby or work just got really stressful, you accept that you're not going to gain muscle during that week or that 2 weeks or that 3 weeks. You can go on maintenance. You can maintain what you have. You can maintain what you have. But that's pretty straightforward. And with anybody out there, if you want to prioritize gaining muscle, you're going to have to get those factors back in check. It is that simple. And there is literally nothing you can do to fix that. In other words, you can't say, well, can I still gain muscle while only sleeping 4 hours a night for the next 2 weeks? No. Drugs, maybe. You're not going to do it with your training and your food. You accept that fact that whatever lifestyle factors are interfering are going to put you in a holding pattern for a couple of weeks. When it's over, you can go back to gaining again. We accept this reality. We accept this reality. And a good coach will do that with you. They will put you through maintenance. But at the end of the day, Jerry wants to basically overcomplicate a lot of this and just saying, look, we have a stress, recovery, adaptation cycle. But the thing is, at the end of the day, Jerry doesn't really know how to train. He does nothing but get hurt, can't lift anything. When he does want to gain muscle and gains any size, there's a lot of substances involved, and he admits that. Right? He uses purely exogenous agents as his form of stimulating growth. He doesn't really train. So when he doesn't train and he doesn't really know how to train, and when he does try to train at all, not even close to working out, he ends up tearing stuff, continual injuries. So how's he going to talk to people about the training yet? He can't. He can't do it. And I mean, again, people just need to keep that in perspective. They need to keep that in perspective. And I'm not even hating. I'm just calling it like it is. I mean, Jerry's shown repeatedly on camera he can't lift anything, and when he tries to lift any sort of weight, he tears stuff and has to have a surgery. It might be time for him to reassess what he knows about training. This is what it is, right? Just like me, I don't claim to be an expert on getting shredded. No need for people to say, hey, Jason, you need to reassess that. You need to read and learn what you know about getting shredded because you're never shredded. I'm not trying to get shredded, and I'm not an expert on getting shredded. I don't portray myself as an expert on getting shredded. Okay, right? Not in my wheelhouse. That's not in my portfolio, guys, and I'm not trying to make it there. There's no need to even go there. But Jerry does pretend to care about gaining muscle and about training. But it's clear when you watch him, he doesn't know how. So again, he's trying to overcomplicate something as simple as a stress recovery adaptation cycle and just explain to people that, look, sometimes outside circumstances will interfere with your recovery, and when they do, you have to adjust for it. That's reality. We all have it happen no matter how dedicated you are, because the real world happens. And a good coach adapts your training around it. A good coach adapts your training around it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.